The Kenya High Commission, with the support from Sky Schools, conducted visits to government hospital mortuaries in Dar es Salaam to trace and identify the remains of...
This is the bad manners. We need to train them. This is the bad manners of...
Hiya guys, back to our YouTube channel. Ensure umelike video kama kawaida ili uweze kufikia watu wengi. Na wale wageni ambao wanatazama kwa mara ya kwanza, ensure pia mnajiunga na sisi kwa kubonyeza alama ya subscription ili tuwe familia kubwa tena zaidi. Without wasting time, serikali ya William Ruto inaona dust. Wakati ambapo wanajaribu kucheza na akili ya wananchi, huku pia kwa parliament wanakuwa humiliated by angry members of parliament. Unajua CS Mudavadi amekuwa summoned upande wa parliament ili atuambie kwa nini wananchi wa Kenya wanalalamika kwamba kuna baadhi ya wapendwa wao walikuwa upande wa Tanzania. And since maandamano yaweze kushuhudiwa pale, hawajaweza kuzungumza na wapendwa wao. Hakuna communication. And it was just clear, Mama Samia Suluhu wakati ambapo alikuwa nakula kiapo, alituambia wale ambao wao wamefaulu kukamata, wengi wao sio wananchi wa Tanzania. Alikuwa clear. Sikiza.
Haikutushangaza kuona kuwa baadhi ya vijana waliokamatwa kutokana na kadhia hiyo wametoka nje ya Tanzania. Vyombo vyetu vya ulinzi na usalama vinaendelea kufuatilia na kuchunguza kwa undani zaidi kilichotokea na kuirudisha nchi katika hali tuliyoizoea kwa haraka. Kamati ya ulinzi ya kitaifa.
So it means wakati ambapo serikali ya Tanzania ilianza kufanya msako, juu walipeana notice kwamba tunaanza msako. Tukipata mwananchi yeyote, tukipata raia yoyote kutoka upande wa Kenya ama Uganda ama wapi yuko nchini Tanzania, then tunaanza na yeye. Kabla tumfikie aweze kuchomoka upande wa Tanzania arejee makwao. So I think hiyo ndio wakati serikali ya Mama Samia Suluhu ilichukulia hiyo action. Walianza kudeal na wao. Even if hawakuwa wanaandamana, walianza kudeal na wao. So today, Musalia Mudavadi is telling us, hakuna wananchi ambao wameweza kukamatwa upande wa Tanzania, ni wawili tu. But tunaendelea kupata reports mingi sana kwamba kuna Wakenya wengi pale waliweza kuabductiwa, wengine waliuawa, but Musalia Mudavadi anakanusha hayo madai. And that's why members of parliament wanamshambulia wakati ambapo ana deny hiyo story. Unajua kutetea Ruto ni ngumu. Sikiza mambo.
And Ukraine on the issue. But what I wanted to ask is, it looks like there are criminal enterprises here within the country who are luring those people to go to Russia and fight in that war between Russia and Ukraine. Is there any effort the government has made to bust those criminal enterprises that are luring those men and women who want to go to that war? And my second question, Mr. Speaker, is supplementary, is on the issue of the policy of the foreign ministry. For example, on the Middle East, what's happening in the Middle East? This looks like we are in a state of confusion. Nobody knows what is the position of the government of Kenya on what is going on in the Middle East. So can the Prime Cabinet Secretary enlighten us on what could be the position of the government of Kenya on what is going on in the Middle East of part of the world?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask a supplementary question to the Cabinet Secretary of Foreign Affairs regarding what Junet has just alluded on the policy of the government. We have seen of recently claims by an airline carrying some Palestinians, stopping over Nairobi and later taking them to South Africa. Mr. Speaker, it's very saddening when we become a country of conduit of human trafficking, because it does not augur very well when we have already ratified treaties to protect human trafficking. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it is the issue between our citizen here and our neighbors, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Mr. Speaker, it's the high time we understand from the Cabinet Secretary, what are they doing to make sure that we continue enjoying the tranquility of the East African Treaty of Free Movement? Mr. Speaker, we can even table evidence of Kenyans who have been asked to produce documents to be in Tanzania or in Uganda. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I think there is a serious laxity in this ministry when Kenyans are held in different territories over the country. In my constituency, Mr. Speaker, we have had cases of children or young people going to seek jobs in Middle East, and by bad luck or whatever happens, they pass there. To repatriate that body back to Kenya, it's taking close even to 6 months, Mr. Speaker. So, as a ministry, what are you doing to protect Kenyans when they are abroad? That is a fundamental question the Cabinet Secretary should tell us as members of Parliament. And last but not least, you need to be very clear.
Order. You are joyriding on somebody else's question and you're asking 4 questions.
Mr. Speaker.
Actually, you are making a speech.
No. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the last question. I've just heard the Prime Cabinet Secretary talk about the two Kenyans who were held in Uganda, and he said that the government were fully engaged. And we saw those Kenyans saying that their release came when the former president of this country, Uhuru Kenyatta, intervened. It is a shame. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. If Kenya is engaged, even you can engage. Yes. Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you heard what the member said lastly, that the former president engaged the Ugandan government to release Kenyans from there. As who, Mr. Speaker? An ordinary citizen who was retired, Mr. Speaker, who was just doing his farming in Gatundu, Mr. Speaker. And lastly, this is the bad manner. We need to train them. This is the bad manners of united opposition in Kenya. They just give a speech in Parliament instead of asking a question, Mr. Speaker.
Can you... Let's have the very last Wanjala. There is another question from Naisula. Let the Prime Cabinet finish this.
No, I was on a point of...
Who is that shouting? Shimba. After Wanjala, I'll give you a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Lake Victoria is a shared resource. And Mr. Speaker, all the waters in Lake Victoria are gotten from Kenya, because all the rivers that flows into Lake Victoria are from Kenya, except Kagera, the only one that is coming from Tanzania. Mr. Speaker...
Kagera doesn't come from Tanzania, it comes from Rwanda.
Yes, but it goes through Tanzania, then it comes to Uganda, DRC. Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, and all fish is bred in Kenya, because Kenya is where we have the biggest swamps, where fish are bred. But, Mr. Speaker, when we go to the lake to fish, the Ugandans and Tanzanians harass Kenyans, extort Kenyans, beat Kenyans, jail Kenyans, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is silent. Mr. Speaker, what action is the minister going to take to negotiate with these countries? Because Lake Victoria is a shared resource for all of us, and we contribute a lot to Lake Victoria by providing fish and the waters. And Mr. Speaker, could also the minister activate communication department in his office, so that when there is a problem in Kenya, a Kenyan is caught in another country, like what happened to the Kenyans who are caught in Uganda, so that Kenyans are updated on what is happening, than them keeping quiet. We know they are busy, but they should have communication department to appraise Kenyans all the time, the way they were doing during COVID, Mr. Speaker.
Can you respond to those?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me acknowledge this communication from you, Mr. Speaker, regarding the failure of several cabinet ministers to respond appropriately to the calls of the House. I will take it up, and I'm sure when we meet next, there'll be a record of better response. So may I take this opportunity to apologize on their behalf, and at the same time to say that I'll take up the necessary action. Now, if I go straight to the question raised by the Honorable Member Sarah Korere, I wish to respond as follows. On the first aspect, that is on the registration and presence of Kenyan citizens residing, working, studying, or operating businesses in the United Republic of Tanzania, as at 29th of October 2025, my response is as follows. I wish to state the following based on the records maintained by the Kenya High Commission in Dar es Salaam and the Kenya Consulate in Arusha, and official statistics provided by the government of Tanzania. Data from the Kenya High Commission and the Consulate. Between 2021 and October 2025, a total of 766 Kenyan citizens physically registered with the Kenya High Commission in Dar es Salaam and in the Kenya Consulate in Arusha. In addition, the mission online registration portal, which was very active between 2021 and June 2023, has so far recorded 276,186 Kenyan entries into Tanzania, covering both short-term and long-term stays. Statistics from the United Republic of Tanzania from July 2023 to June 2024 are as follows. During the reporting period, the government of Tanzania issued to Kenyan nationals the following: 448 students gratis passes, 879 work permits, 370 registered business entities owned by Kenyans, 1,806 residence permits for workers and self-employed Kenyans. This amounts to a total of 3,503 documented Kenyan citizens residing or conducting socioeconomic activities in Tanzania during the period under review. That is from the Tanzanian records. I wish to note that the observations here is that the high number of work and residence permits issued indicates growing labor mobility and expanding economic engagement by Kenyan citizens within Tanzania, presumably being driven by the free movement of people and capital in the East African community. This data shows a steady increase in cross-border economic integration consistent with the objectives and spirit of the EAC. The second aspect of her question is to do with the debts. Mr. Speaker, I wish to respond as follows. On the reported deaths of Kenyan nationals during or after the elections of 29th October 2025 and the repatriation measures taken. To date, and based on the information received from the Kenya missions in Arusha and Dar es Salaam, there has been one confirmed death of a Kenyan national linked to the unrest surrounding the 29th October 2025. The deceased, Mr. John Ogutu, a Kenyan teacher at Sky Schools in Kinondoni district, was shot dead on 29th October 2025 at approximately 7 p.m. in Goba Center, Obungo district area, Dar es Salaam. Mr. Speaker, I wish to point out that in response, the Kenya High Commission, with the support from Sky Schools, conducted visits to government hospital mortuaries in Dar es Salaam to trace and identify the remains of Mr. Ogutu. However, these efforts have so far been unsuccessful. The Kenya High Commission formally notified Tanzanian authorities through diplomatic channels and requested their assistance in locating the body. I personally wrote to the Minister for Foreign and East African Community Affairs of Tanzania to seek his urgent intervention. The Kenya High Commission remains in constant engagement with Tanzanian authorities. However, the body of the late Mr. Ogutu is yet to be traced, and we are following up accordingly. And once the body or the remains are found, the embassy shall facilitate the repatriation. The third aspect or question is to do with Kenyan-owned businesses affected by election-related violence. Mr. Speaker, I wish to respond as follows. The preliminary assessment by the Kenya High Commission and field officers indicate that no significant Kenyan-owned businesses reported incidents of damage, looting, or temporary closure during the election period. The mission has only noted an incident at the Namanga one-stop border post where a tear gas canister thrown by a Tanzanian security forces landed on the Kenyan side and struck the KRA cargo scanner area. The incident was reported through established channels and additional security support was deployed from Kajiado. There was no major impact and no further related incident. The fourth aspect of the honorable member's question was on measures being taken to locate Kenyans who were reported missing after the elections. I wish to respond as follows. There were no reported cases of missing Kenyan nationals following the unrest associated with the general elections in the United Republic of Tanzania. However, the mission received reports of several Kenyans who had been arrested and detained in various locations across Tanzania. In response, the Kenya High Commission dispatched a team of officers to the respective police stations and immigration officers to verify the arrests, provide consular assistance, and engage local authorities. Following the intervention by the government of Kenya through the High Commission, all but 2 of the detained Kenyans have since been released. The remaining 2 individuals are Mr. Samuel Kagila and Stephen Dungu Kimani, who are currently held at Arusha Central Police Station. The mission remains actively engaged with Tanzanian authorities and efforts are ongoing to secure their release. And the ministry has also sought assurances that the 2 Kenyans will be accorded full due process, including access to legal representation and timely production before a competent court. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Korere, umetosheka?
Mheshimiwa Spika, sio haswa sijatosheka kamili, manake taarifa tunazozipata nje ni kwamba kuna baadhi ya Wakenya ambayo hawajui walipo wapendwa wao. Pia kando na hiyo, Mheshimiwa Spika, tunajua kwamba taifa ya Kenya na muungano na Jamhuri ya Muungano ya Tanzania tuko na mengi tu ambayo yanatushikanisha. Mbali na binadamu, kuna viumbe vingine vya Kenya ambavyo vinapatikana Tanzania. Kwa hivyo ni vyema wizara yetu husika iweze kuwajibika, na namshukuru waziri manake ameonyesha kwamba wizara imewajibika, lakini waendelee kuwajibika zaidi ili tujue walipo Wakenya wote ambayo mpaka sasa wapendwa hao hawajui walipo, na pia ule uhusiano na undugu ulio baina ya nchi hizi mbili iendelee kukuwepo hata baada ya uchaguzi ya nchi yoyote ile.
Thank you. Tandaza.